Your brain is Stone Age hardware running in a digital age economy. That's the actual reason you just tapped buy on a third subscription this week without even noticing the total. And it's not because you're bad with numbers or because you lack willpower. It's an evolutionary mismatch, and it's why you keep hitting the same walls with your money. Think about your internal hard drive. It was built for a world of predators and seasonal scarcity, not one-click checkouts and algorithmic feeds designed to keep you scrolling. When you feel that visceral punch of dread while losing $100, that's just your brain's ancient alarm system misidentifying a simple transaction as a threat to your survival. It's why you treat a tax refund like free money while hoarding your paycheck, and why tapping a card feels like a freebie compared to the physical sting of parting with cash. You're even biologically predisposed to take the smaller reward right now over a better deal later. You aren't broken, you're just mismatched. 4 of these glitches are worth a much closer look. Think about that sinking feeling in your gut when you realize you've dropped a $20 bill. It's heavy, right? Now, compare that to the mild satisfaction you get from finding that same 20 on the sidewalk. Psychologically, that loss hits you twice as hard as the gain lifts you up. That's loss aversion, your brain's defensive architecture kicking in. Evolutionarily, our ancestors couldn't afford to be cavalier about resources. Losing your stash meant losing your life, while finding a bit extra was just a lucky bonus. Today, this ancient alarm system is still screaming at full volume. It's why you find yourself stubbornly holding on to a crashing investment or a dud product long after it makes sense to walk away. You aren't being stubborn, you're being protective of what you already possess, even when your rational mind knows the ship has sailed. Your brain is wired to view any retreat as a mortal threat, so it keeps you locked in place, desperately trying to avoid the sting of a realized loss. It's the same biological script that once kept us safe from predators, now manifesting in your brokerage account or your digital wallet. You're scanning for threats in a world that doesn't always operate on life or death stakes, yet your internal alarm system doesn't know the difference. It just knows that letting go feels dangerous, even when holding on is exactly what's draining your resources. We are perpetually fighting our own survival instincts in a world built on high-stakes convenience. Same brain, different trap. And while that loss aversion keeps you clutching tightly to what you already have, your brain takes a totally different approach when money lands in your lap unexpectedly. Think about how you feel during a weekly grocery run. You're scanning prices, hunting for the cheapest store brand, and maybe even agonizing over a few cents difference in the cereal aisle. You treat those dollars like they're extensions of your own life force. But what happens when you get a tax refund or a gift card for your birthday? Suddenly, that careful, penny-pinching vigilance evaporates. You're out at a fancy dinner or clicking buy on something you didn't need 10 minutes ago, thinking of it as free money. In reality, a dollar is a dollar. Whether it's chipped away from your bi-weekly paycheck or handed to you as a bonus, the purchasing power is identical. Yet, your brain creates invisible, separate buckets for your cash. It labels the hard-earned money as protected resources, while the windfall money gets categorized as play money, exempt from your usual strict rules. This is mental accounting, and it's why you might be ruthless with your grocery budget, but reckless with a surprise check. You aren't being undisciplined or lazy. You're operating on a subconscious filing system that treats your balance sheet like a collection of unrelated pots rather than one cohesive pile. It's an easy shortcut for your mind to take, even when it completely compromises your logic. Same brain, different trap. But it isn't just how you categorize your money that gets you in trouble. It's the literal sensation of letting it go. Think about the last time you bought something with crisp physical bills. As you peeled them off and handed them to the cashier, you might have felt a tiny nagging hesitation, a moment of pause. That's the pain of paying. Your brain isn't just processing a transaction, it's registering a genuine physical discomfort. Studies have shown that the part of your brain that processes actual pain lights up when you part with cash. It's an evolutionary warning system, a biological brake designed to keep you from draining your resources too quickly. But then you switch to a piece of plastic or a quick tap of your phone, and that internal alarm goes silent. The transaction is frictionless, invisible, and strangely painless. By digitizing the exchange, you've effectively bypassed your own neural early warning system. You aren't less disciplined than the person standing in line behind you. You're just operating in an environment your biology was never meant to handle. The credit card reader doesn't care about your survival instincts, but your brain sure does, even if it's currently being outmaneuvered by a piece of magnetized strip. You're left spending more because the immediate signal of loss is being muffled by the convenience of a modern interface. It's the perfect disconnect between your ancient impulses and your contemporary wallet, leaving your impulse control to wither while the terminal beeps. Same brain, different trap. And if the silence of a digital transaction wasn't enough to trip you up, consider how your brain handles the concept of time. Imagine I walk up to you right now and offer a choice. I can hand you $100 today, or I can give you $110 tomorrow. You'd probably take the cash right now, wouldn't you? That immediate reward is just too tempting to pass up. But change the terms. Offer that same $100 in 30 days, or $110 in 31 days, and you'd almost certainly wait for the extra 10. It's the exact same trade-off, just shifted into the future, yet your brain treats the two scenarios like they're from different planets. That's hyperbolic discounting. Your brain doesn't value time consistently, it just really hates waiting starting today. This is why you put off saving for later while treating every small current urge like a survival necessity. Your brain is wired to prioritize the immediate present because, for most of human history, tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. We evolved to gorge on the berries we found today, not to calculate the compound interest of tomorrow. You aren't failing because you lack discipline or because you're bad with numbers. You're failing because your biological hard drive is running software designed for a world of immediate, tangible consequences, not for the abstract long-term planning required by your modern financial life. Same brain, different trap. These aren't just random glitches in your decision-making. They are the consistent features of a biological system designed to keep you alive in a world that simply doesn't exist anymore. You aren't losing the game of personal finance because you're lazy or lack discipline. You're losing because the environment evolved at lightning speed, while your grey matter stayed stuck in the Pleistocene. Your brain was built to hunt, gather, and avoid immediate threats, not to navigate subscriptions, high-interest debt, or algorithmic feeds. You're playing a modern game with ancient hardware. Understanding that mismatch is the first step to seeing why your instincts keep backfiring. That's why you feel that sting of losing $100 more than the joy of finding it, or why you'll impulsively blow a tax refund while guarding your paycheck. It's why tapping a card feels like nothing, and why tomorrow's savings never seem worth today's gratification. These aren't personal failures, they're just your wiring. If you want your brain's tricks called out like this every week, that's what this channel does. And the 4 short versions of these traps are already live here if you want to go deeper on any one of them.